So Ken, Ken and Ryu. Ryu is just like I said, a stronger version of Ken. No knee bash, but he's got the knockdown fireball. So like Norman said, Sim has a knockdown fireball also, but other than that, I don't think there's anybody else in the game who has a knockdown fireball like that. Like that at close range, Ken has to jump in, or he has to walk forward to the point where like you're scared, and you either don't push something, and he knee bashes you, or you do push something, and he DPs you. Right? But anything outside of that, like when you play against good Ryus, there's no reason for them to have to do any of that without just throwing a fireball. So you're automatically like super plus on everything. And then if you jump in, Ken's not going to suspect it for the most part. So Ryu also has that going for him against Ken. But the worst part is Shinku. Once Ryu gets Shinku, Ken can't throw a fireball. Just can't. Because if he does, Shinku can go through Ken's Hadouken. So if you throw a fireball and it's not an odd, so like there's even or odds where like if you have taken an odd number of hits, you can throw a fireball and Ryu's Shinku will eat your fireball and then hit you while you're in recovery, like that. If it's odd, you can block the remaining 4 hits, or you can DP through it. But if it's even, it goes through fireball and you eat the rest of it. So you'll eat the other 4 hits and get knocked down and be like basically in the corner because the pushback is crazy. So Ryu's Shinku is probably the best super in the game. Arguably, but kind of not arguably, it is the best super in the game because it's a projectile. You don't have any risk, right, other than somebody jumping at you. So Ryu's DP also like fierce DP. If Ken jumps in at you, you get full damage, just 1 hit, right? You can combo Shinku. Basically, Ryu has every advantage against Ken except for knee bash, maybe. Ryu beats Ken 7-3, I'd say. Ryu is really strong. 7-3 is pretty much like what everybody says. Some people say 6.5, but once Ryu gets Shinku, game's over. And he gets it pretty quick because he can just jump back and do Tatsu to like charge it. So really no, Ken doesn't have any recourse against it. Like if you get knocked down once, if you eat 1 fire huddle, Ryu can just do 2 Tatsus and be basically gauge almost full. And then also still pressure with fireball. So I say 7-3. 6.5 on the easy side. So next, go Honda. And this is the only matchup that Ken has that is like absolutely inarguably in his favor. Ken's Hadoukens are slow, kind of hard to see. He can walk behind them against Honda. He's got cross ups if Honda does hands, right? Because he moves forward. So if you're doing hands at the inopportune time, like that, Ken can jump forward and hit you with a cross up TOD. So Honda's got some moves like that. The sweep, knock Ken down, and then pressure with hands. I can't do hands, so I'm not a Chun-Li player or a Honda player, so. Butt slam is pretty much inconsequential. Other than when Ken's throwing a Hadouken. You can do that on wake up and maybe catch him by surprise, but for the most part, good Kens aren't going to do that. They'll negative edge Hadouken, where you hold all the buttons and do the Hadouken motion and let go. So that way, if he does do a reversal where your Hadouken's still on screen, you won't throw out like fierce punch or something, right? You'll still basically do nothing because you're negative edging. So the Hadouken won't come out. And then you can realize, oh, he's in the air. Let me do a DP. Right. So butt slam is pretty useless for the most part. Sometimes it'll catch you off guard, but Dolskoi, not bad. But on the recovery, Ken can sweep it. Ken can do a lot of stuff against Honda. So like basically, if I were to play Ken against Honda, I'd just do pretty no risk stuff and just throw a bunch of Hadoukens to the point where he has to neutral jump. But if he does a read where he does the hands forward, you can just catch him while you're jumping like this. It's 3-piece. After that, Dizzy stays for a long time. Ken's only really like decent matchup. So if he does hands, he jumps, like he goes forward, moves forward. You get the cross up combo. Automatic Dizzy. That only took 3 pieces. But most of the time, like 90% of the time, you'll get the Dizzy on the 5th hit. So Honda's a good matchup for Ken. Everything else is pretty arguable. I'm just scratching the surface. Like this is really just entry level stuff. But kind of want to give you an idea of what it's like to play Ken. Blanka's good, man. Blanka, very even against Ken. Probably one of the most even matchups. Ken has to keep Blanka out. Like, if he gets in, you're done. So he has all the tools to keep him out. But once he gets in, which he will, you have to find a way to get him back out, right? So, and he's got the cross up. Like, he has a cross up, 1-hit Dizzy combo. Pretty bad for Ken in that sense. Once he gets knocked down, you got to do something crazy to get out. Right, that's a 3-hit. Sometimes that dizzies. And once you get knocked down, Blanka has a cross up. Let me see if I can do it. I'm not a Blanka player, so. Super ambiguous. Where it could either be front or it could be back. And that goes into a Dizzy combo. Or if you throw a Hadouken, which you have to do, Ken literally has to throw Hadoukens. Like, even at close range. Because if he doesn't, Blanka will just walk up and go like that. And then walk back and then go like that. So Ken has to throw Hadoukens at a super close range. Otherwise, Blanka just gets in and you're done. Because Blanka has a lot of mix-ups against Ken. And that's kind of the only way that Blanka's competitive. Otherwise, he's pretty low tier. I mean, he is low tier. But against Ken, it's pretty even. You can hope to catch like Ken trying to do something with his startup. Like that, with the ball. Or if you get a good jump. Basically, Blanka's looking for a Hadouken to jump. And once he gets it, game over because it's a 1-hit Dizzy. 1-touch Dizzy. I don't think I can do it, but that plus like the jump Daike. Disconnected, but still dizzied. So you kind of get the point. Like that. You cross up, but sometimes, based on the strength of the ball that you use, you won't cross up and you'll land in front. So it's literally just like, oh shit, which way do I hold the stick? Right. So if I do light ball, it won't cross up. But if you're at the end of like where he sweeps, it won't cross up or it will. So like this, right? That crossed up. But if I do it like the very end, it doesn't cross up. Stupid. Blanka has a terrible super though, so that's not really much of a factor unless you're at 0 dot. Then it is. Guile. I don't think I even need to go to like the character screen. Guile is just like, he's bad. Bad for Ken. He can walk behind the sonic booms, like to the point where like he can combo with it. And if he's in the corner, it's even worse. That's a 3-hit and I didn't even try. Like I messed up the combo and I still hit it. Guile's all of Guile's normals basically mess Ken up. His projectiles are much quicker. Ken's are terrible. So, well, if, you know, Ken throws a Hadouken and they meet like this, Guile gets a free backhand. Budokan. Yeah, for the most part, you just have to throw Hadoukens and hope that Guile lands on something, get the cross up, or safe jump, and then knee bash the hell out of him. Or get the one hit cross up dizzy. But Guile's just, you know, he's good. Good character. Guile is 7-3. Like, on the confident side, like 7-3 for sure. Maybe more. Some people have a big problem dealing with Guile is Ken. Hawk. I'll play Ken for Hawk. Hawk is, I'd say 5.5 for Hawk. Viper has said like 5.56. But kind of like once you get one touch against Ken, you can just Typhoon loop. And unless Ken does a reversal, that, which is a huge read, you're kind of screwed. Because you just got like, Viper can Typhoon loop the best Kens in the world. So, S-Hawk, like old Hawk, much better. Ken gets safe jump for the most part. But if Hawk gets a reversal out, sometimes it's got to be like, I don't know the frame rate, but frame data, but it's got to be like first, second, third frame. So if you don't get the right safe jump, you're kind of screwed. But you got that, so that's always good. Yeah, kind of a weird matchup. I don't think there's any Ken that likes this matchup. It's like just work. A lot of Hadoukens, but if he does Condor dive, you're kind of screwed. At the wrong time, he gets a knockdown, and then he can just move in. Fei Long. Oh. Just shit matchup for Ken. If you get like a jump in against Ken, you get a 5-hit, sometimes dizzy. So Ken has to throw Hadoukens, but he's like, it's a risk every time he throws one. So like, and Fei Long's jump arc is so tiny. You know, it's not like a floaty jump like Chun-Li. And he's got so many like, you know, like he's got Rekyaku. Where if he gets in, he's just in. A lot of stuff going against Ken. I say 6-4 in Fei Long's favor. And from here, if Ken does Hadoken, his hands go out like that, and Fei Long's Crouch Fierce will beat the startup. So you can just literally just sit there and push that. And if your Ken isn't like a top level, like one of the best in the world Kens, there's no way that even if he is, it's so hard to walk up and just sweep that, like whiff punish that. Like that's a very like small time frame to be able to whiff punish that. The Crouch Fierce. And also Stand Fierce will also do it. And he's just super plus on Rekkas. So like a lot of the Rekkas, like you'll block it, but he still gets like another turn. And then another turn. And then he can just throw out super for free. So Fei Long Ken is 6-4, maybe more. I've heard Fei Long players say it's more like 6.5. I personally say 6.5 because like everything that you have to do, like every risk is on Ken other than the cross up. When Fei gets knocked down, you get the cross up, which can be a TOD. But Hanashi has some crazy tech. If the flame kick, reversal flame kick doesn't come out, he blocks it. It's like a negative edge where he lets go of the buttons. So that way, if you're blocking, you block. And if the move doesn't come out, you're blocking. So if you can do that, definitely 6.5 for Fei. Boxer, just a brainless character. Ken has knee bash, and if you get Boxer in a position where he gets knocked down, and you can knee bash him, knee bash that motherfucker until he dies. And then when they think another knee bash is coming, give him a nice dragon punch. Cause that's a full screen projectile that knocks down. So it's better than Dhalsim's Yoga Fire and Ryu's Fire Hado, other than the fact that you have to be touching them to do it, right? But other than that, it hits low, and it's a projectile, and it knocks down full screen. Like, right? You can't see that. There's no way. Try to have some Street Fighter 6 player deal with 2x Boxer's full screen low rush. They'll quit. They'll just be like, fuck this game. Stupid. You can get close. This is like crouch medium punch is free because Ken's DP will whiff. You can just stand right here, and then if he does whiff, DP whiffs, you get a 2-piece. All right, so this is probably a little too close, but good boxers can do it at a range where it's completely free. So Ken does wake up reversal DP. Oh, there you go. And then he's right back up, and you get another one of these, right? You get another. And all that time, you can still be holding all these buttons. And final will do your entire life bar. So let's just say Boxer was holding all the kick buttons the entire time. Because he didn't really have any reason to be not holding them, right? Because all his kicks are punches anyways. Light kick, light punch. Same. Medium kick, medium punch. Both amazing buttons. Fierce punch. Roundhouse. He's got a sweep. But it's a fucking punch. And if you get a boxer gets a rear, like a rare jump in. 3-piece. And don't even get me started on the headbutt. Invincibility is crazy. It beats DP. Even Ken's fierce DP. Because it has more invincibility frames. It just starts up slower. Which is why you can safe jump him. But I don't think there's any move that has more invincibility in that than like a, maybe like other than a super. Right? So yeah, like I can play Bison. Anybody can play Bison. You don't have to. You can have like a 10-point IQ and still play Bison. Like dead. Really? You're like dead off of that. And that was with like a round ahead. Ken didn't even have a round. And then the super goes through projectiles. So once he has super, no more projectiles. You can still scare them into holding their projectiles the whole game. So like anybody who needs to throw projectiles to be competitive, all of a sudden, game changes. Sagat, ex-Sagat, not a competitive character. Yaya is a legendary player, one of the best in the world, best to ever play the game. He mains Sagat, ex-Sagat. But if he did play S-Sagat, he'd be probably the best player in the world, bar none. So going back, Boxer against Ken is like a solid 6.4, 6.5. I'd say 6.5. Because once Ken gets in and gets the knee bash mix up, then you have a chance. But Boxer is pretty oppressive. S-Sagat is Ken's worst matchup in the game. 8.5. Sometimes it feels like 9-1, but I won't go that far. Dhalsim is an 8.2. So S-Sagat is 8.5. One touch on the Fierce DP does full damage. And he's just got ridiculous speed. He can combo his projectiles, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And if you jump over the projectile, like if you see it, right, and then jump, his DP or his Tiger Uppercut will make it. There's no way you can jump on reaction to his fireballs because the fireball will recover in time and the DP will make it. So it's just... But if you're beating somebody with Ken who's playing S-Sagat, you probably don't need to tell them that you're better than them. They probably understand. So Ken 7-3 matchup. Chun-Li Ken 7-3. Chun-Li has like every move to get Ken or keep Ken out. She can walk behind her fireballs. She's got crazy like medium kick, just blows Ken the fuck up. You can literally just do that. And Ken, you can't sweep that. Like you can't. If you saw the hitbox and her box, you'd be like, this is a sick game. Sagat is 6'4". Very, very like tight. No room for argument really. 6'4". Because Ken has a chance. But Sagat, everything that Ken can do, Sagat has longer limbs. So in neutral, sweep, stand fierce. The worst part is stand light kick. Because that will stop like a ton of Ken's moves. So it's you know, it's not like terrible, but it's definitely in Sagat's favor. Yeah, you just have to walk forward and hope that he's going to throw out a tiger shot when you push DP, or just, you know, get a good jump in, or tap, like when he's shooting tigers, you can kind of like do it on reaction, just jump in and tap like the recovery of the tiger shots, especially high tiger. And if you duck his tiger while he's doing the high tiger, you can stand up and push fierce, and it does a lot of damage. Or you can do stand medium punch and cancel into Hadouken, which is good because then you have another projectile on the screen and you get some damage. But stand fierce, Keishin does that a lot, as Ken, and he said it's like the best thing. Stand fierce against Sagat's high tiger. But anyways, Chun-Li, one of the best characters in the game, top 3 for sure. Just super does ridiculously dumb damage. Like if you have full life and you get caught throwing a Hadouken, she can go through it and then do that and get the final damage, which would probably take 80% of your life. And the worst part is that she can like hold it, right? Input the super and then walk forward, and then just push a button and it activates. So watch this. She can just walk forward. And then if you're like, oh shit, she's gonna throw out super, right? So I'm not gonna push a button. Then what happens? You eat that. Because you're like, hey, I'm not gonna push anything. Because if I do, I'm gonna eat the super. But then she's like, all right, well, if you're not gonna push a button, then I'm just gonna walk up and throw you. Stupid character. But always good to have on your team. If you're in a team tournament, you need a Chun-Li. Moving on. Zangief. Geef. You would think that, like, for the worst character, arguably the worst character in the game, you would think that Ken might have an easy time, right? Nah. Geef is like 6.5, 6. And it's because of the fact that he can lariat through Ken's Hadouken. So Ken's main game of, like, you know, making you jump so he can DP you or walk up and, you know, make you do something, it doesn't work against Geef. And then once you get knocked down, he just gets in close and he can just sit there and guard, you know, out of your throw range. And if you do DP, then you can walk forward, whiff punish, like that. Or just sit there and do that, and then if you DP, then he just walks up and do that. So it's a struggle still. If you watch Kawamata Ryu versus Suzuki Zangief, Kawamata is one of the best players in the world, bar none. And Ryu probably has maybe a little worse time than Ken, just because no knee bash and his wake up options are minimal compared to Ken. And his wake up isn't as good, but his light Tatsu knocks down, so you can use that. Ken's doesn't, so Zangief can punish it after you land. But for the most part, Ken struggles. stand medium kick is a bear to deal with. You can crouch medium punch it, but then Geef can walk forward and sweep it. So, like I said, just going through it very quickly. Dhalsim, Ken's second worst matchup, but Matsune has been challenging that theory. Dhalsim pretty much has every like normal button to keep Ken out. Like it's ridiculous. I can't even like properly show you how stupid this matchup is, but if you every like Hadouken that Ken throws can be punished after the fact for the most part, or before the fact. Like you can slide on reaction to Hadouken and just go under, or if you do a random DP, that'll hit. If he does a Hadouken from like, you know, wherever, you can either trade with that, or after he throws it, you can do it. Or you can just do that. Or you can knock him down with a Yoga Fire. So, Dhalsim, if you want to know how to beat Dhalsim with Ken, watch Matsune's first to 10 against Suzuka. He defied the odds, and he's changed the matchup. It's still ridiculous, so most people are just like, well, that's just Matsune, which is true. It's just him. It's not like it's not an okay matchup for Ken at all. But Matsune, he's just really good at it. And there's outliers like that, you know, in the data where certain people are just good at certain matchups. Like Dizzy is crazy. His throw does a ton of damage. Yeah. Bad matchup. 8-2, pretty much agreed upon by most people. All right, Cammy. Cammy, this is a pretty even matchup. Matsune says that Ken wins. Mostly everybody else says that Cammy wins. So I'd say that it's pretty even. I think Cammy's medium kick, crouch medium kick, is just ridiculously oppressive against Ken. Like, it beats his Hadouken startup, which means he can't throw Hadoukens, which he has to. And then she's got Hooligan, which I believe is not, like, you have to be at least thinking that she might do it, right? To be able to do crouch fierce as Ken against it. Or stand fierce. But if you're not thinking that she's gonna do it, it's too quick. The startup's too quick. Like, you can't be looking at your feet and be waiting for that and then also have her doing that. Like, it's too fast. So unless you've allocated mental space for the fact that you're thinking, oh, in this situation, she might do Hooligan, I think that it's too quick to respond to, like, on reaction respond to. Which, if you watch Ken versus Cammy or Ken versus Ryu or something, like, you'll see, like, even the top players just stand there while she does Hooligan, and she's like, oh shit. Because, you know, it's a good move. Cammy's super weak. She's one of the weakest in the game. But like I said, against Ken, she has a lot of tools. She can also go through his Hadouken with her super. So if he were to throw like a Hadouken right here, you can just do and it'll hit it because Ken's hands extend when he does auto cam. She's also got cross up against Ken. Good Kens won't eat that, but it can be difficult to like. Sometimes you'll take the cross up and just not even know which side it is. But there's conditions. Pretty even. I'd say pretty even. She has a hard time getting in. Matsune told me to think of it as like the Honda matchup. She's kind of like Honda. So she has a bit of a leg up with crouch medium kick. But if you can walk up and sweep her, then she doesn't have much recourse. So there's always a chance. And you have fireballs, so sometimes it's a liability where she can get like a jump in and like one touch TOD, or that's redundant, but she can get a jump in TOD and you're kind of screwed. But you know, that's the nature of the game. DJ, I feel like DJ is actually easier than Guile because you get safe jumps, and I mean, against Guile you get safe jumps too, but with DJ you can install DP. So installing is like when you jump in, you push the button that you would safe jump with, but then on the timing that you would land, you input Dragon Punch. And if your jumping normal doesn't get blocked, your DP comes out. So basically you're like inputting it before something else. So if you land and DJ doesn't guard, your DP will come out instead of your normal hitting. But that's pretty high tech, and still DJ is light, whatever it's called, this will beat it. So even if you're installing that, good DJs who can get one button reversals won't lose against that. And then one cross up, one knockdown, like one sweep, right? Not even like a hard knockdown, just one sweep. That, and then into, I can't do it, but if you can do that, that's an instant dizzy. So if you get one, say, if you push one button like that, Ken accidentally pushes one bad button, you get sweeped. DJ jumps over you, cross up, dead. Game over. DJ, like, yeah, just cross up. All of his normals are ridiculous. Like that, that will beat pretty much anything that anybody has in the entire game. This knocks down. Crouch medium kick knocks down. That's insane, dude. Crouch medium kick knocks down into like a crazy cross up, into a TOD. DJ is ridiculous. Really good character. Balrog, do I have to do this? Sorry, I didn't give a matchup number for DJ. I'd say 6.5 for DJ. Little bit better than Guile in my opinion, but still pretty rough. Claw. If you can hold down and then press up with the kick button, like it's not enough that all of his normals beat Ken's anything, but if you can't get DP on the first frame going the right way, you're just gonna get handled. Or you don't even need that. You can just do this from far away, or you can slide, because everything is free. Free 99. That cannot be, it can't be beat. Unless you sit there, Ken at the perfect distance, and slide goes like this, and then you sweep. But that is like, that's like Mr. Miyagi catching a fly with chopsticks. It can be done, but normal humans can't do it. I don't think even like exceptional human beings can do it. It's doable. It's doable. But it's not like, you know, and then you can just sit there and do this because all of his normals beat pretty much everything. And then you've got like stored Scarlet Terror. You can stand up and do that. I don't know how to do it, but you know. You can stand up and do that, and it's ridiculously strong. It is a stupid move. You can store it. You can store it standing. What kind of a charge character can store one of the best moves in the game while standing? There you go. See, you can walk back. Even like somebody who doesn't know anything about this character can do it. You walk back. Look at that, so stupid. That is so dumb. Like what? You can just crouch. Oh, okay. Let me walk back. All right, let me walk back. Wow. Really, Capcom? Why? Why can this character do that? And then you just get like super ambiguous cross-ups. And then sometimes even if you guard it, you'll land right here and then you get the throw. Craziness. Balrog 6.7. 7 for sure. I'd definitely say 7. Think you could probably argue 6.5. Vega Ken, also very, very even. Even matchups are hard to come by in this game, but we got them. I say, it's funny, depending on who you talk to, it's either 5.5 for Ken or 5.5 for Vega, which means that it's a very perfect matchup in my opinion. Perfectly even, just like Blanka. Blanka Ken also very perfect, like even. This is one of the best matchups in the game in my opinion, as a Ken player, and even not. Like it's fun to watch, because there's a lot of risk involved with both. I could probably go on forever about it, but Vega has a lot of like ways to kind of get out of situations or not be in the situation where Ken can knee bash in the first place. His jumps are good. His anti-airs, air-to-airs, not anti-airs. His anti-airs are terrible. But his air-to-airs are really good. So like that will beat pretty much anything in the air that Ken tries to do. So if Ken's jumping in on you too much, just do that. Works great. Ken kind of has to guess a little bit on DPs, trying to catch like, you know, scissors. But for the most part, you know, Vega wants to just stay in like this range. Crouch medium kick's really good, and then when you're not expecting it or you're trying to push some kind of button, you just do scissors. Great knockdown. A lot of good stun, like you can do Devil's Reverse to build meter. Where once you have meter, that's the only way that Vega gets out of bad situations, is once he has meter. Otherwise, he just has to sit and hold it. So a lot of Vegas will just sit and kind of like do this the whole game over. I mean, look, that's some pretty decent gauge charge. So like Ken throws Hadouken, go like that over it. He can't get super close or do anything, because then if he jumps in over your, like tries to get in while you're doing that, then the next jump, this will make it in time, right? So you can keep doing that, and then if he throws a Hadouken where you see it and you're like, oh shit, right? Let me just tap his head real quick. And sometimes you can get like a little mix up. Good Kens probably won't fall for it, but you can cross up like that and then throw on the other side. And then, you know, if you're Riz, you got all kinds of crazy wake up mix ups into like hoping they push a button where you walk forward, shimmy a little bit, and then throw out the super while they're pushing a button. Or if you got them scared to push a button, you walk up and throw them, just like Chun-Li, but not as good. There's a lot of stuff that Ken can do. He's got the cross up. Not really one touch. Sometimes the cross up medium kick, crouch medium punch into fierce DP will dizzy. Other times it'll just completely miss, which I think is based on frame skip, which is very unreliable. Would never be in a new game, because sometimes you can just completely miss the 5th hit. But if the 5th hit hits, you got a dizzy, pretty much. Very rare that you don't. So, Ken has a lot of cross-up moves. Got the safe jump, knee bash. Knee bash, doing it too much, probably not a good idea, because good Vegas will just get out of it. And if you do a DP, some Vegas will just sit there and wait. And then when you sit there, or when you walk up and try and do like a DP on their, you know, after you do jump in, safe jump or whatever, they'll just sit there. And then when you do DP, they'll just go like that or something like that. And then you're just kind of screwed, because then you got Vega can also cross up Ken, which is very rare. Because Ken cannot be safe jumped, but Vega has weird cross up hitbox where even if it comes out, you'll end up on the other side if it's timed even kind of decently. Yeah, so if you do medium kick, most of the time it'll be front. So you, as Ken, just hold back. Right, just hold back, because it always hit front. But if you see Vega go for kind of like a late hit and it's roundhouse, that means he's going for the cross up. Late hit roundhouse, jump roundhouse will hit on the other side. So hold forward if you see that, or just do Tatsu like that. That's opposite. That's opposite. That's front. That's front. That was probably front. That was front. So it's hard to tell one than the other ones, just because I like that matchup a lot. I play with you, Vega, a lot. Play with Riz a lot. Onishi, also very, very dope Vega. But, you know, it's a good matchup. So I'm going to go through real quick. Ryu, 6.57 in Ryu's favor. Honda, just to recap, Honda 7-3 for Ken. Blanka 5-5 for the most part. Guile 7-3 for Guile, in my opinion. Hawk 5.5 for Hawk, I think. Fei Long 6.5 for Fei. Boxer 6.5 for Boxer. Arguably 6. Sagat, Sagat, of course. 6-4 for Got. If it's Sagat, 8.5 for Sagat. Ken 5.5 obviously. Chun-Li 7.3, 6.5 maybe for Chun. Zangief 6, maybe 6.5, probably 6. 6 for the most part, I'd say. Dhalsim 8.2 for Dhalsim. Cammy 5. I would like, in my opinion, 5.5 for Cammy because of crouch medium kick. And then supering through Hadouken once she has gauge. Like Haku Cammy is super good at that. He plays rhythm games, so he's just like, he has like crazy reactions, and he's still pretty young. So like his reactions, he can do that like almost like 100% of the time. So you really can't throw Hadouken. So it's kind of like the potential of what a character can do, right? Dee Jay 6.5, 7. I lean more towards 7 because the cross up. If you get hit with a crouch medium kick or even a crouch, if you get hit with a crouch roundhouse or even a crouch medium kick, you get TOD possibly. High chance. Balrog 7.3, 6.5. Nah, 7.3. His normals are way too good. You don't even need heal balls. So once you get heal balls into the game and kind of mix it up, 7.3. Vega 5.5.